Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Today I got another spy camera for you folks. And this one is a little different than some of the other ones I've reviewed. Has a few more features. Time will tell as far as how well these things work. I've only kind of given this an initial testing, but so far I'm pretty impressed. And this is another Amazon brand. This is called VidCastive. And I encourage you to click the link in the description, check out their VidCast store. And this is their newest release of what I would consider like a hidden kind of nanny cam, so to speak, right? Here it is right here. Very similar to some of the other ones, a little larger than some of the other cameras I reviewed. If you haven't checked out my other videos on these spy cameras, they're definitely kind of a handy tool for certain situations, right? One thing I found about this one is it's a little bit larger than some of the other versions that I have reviewed, but it's got more features as well. So this is again what it looks like. I'm going to do kind of a sort of an unboxing here. You guys know I never really show you video camera footage. I just kind of give you guys my 2 cents on these products. There's just not enough time in the day for me to go editing videos together and piecing stuff together as far as different clips, and ultimately resolution. Like you have to do that yourself, right? Because if I record something in 4K and I upload my video, you're ultimately watching through several different compressions and several different video conversions, so it's not really a good representation. But this is the first 4K version that I've reviewed like this. So you do, what are some of the obvious features? So you do have micro USB charging. That's pretty standard on these things. I wish they would use the USB-C. It's just a better connection and more reliable in the long run, but that's what they've added on this. You do have kind of a high gloss finish, which I don't particularly like. They should have made it matte black. High gloss. If you're trying to hide this, it has a little sheen to it. Again, depending on where you're putting it, you know, it's not a huge deal. It's a real big problem. It's not a deal breaker for you to buy this, but just my 2 cents on it. I think they should have made it matte black. Do have a micro SD card slot. That's pretty standard. What else? Infrared, the standard stuff we're going to read about it off Amazon. So there it is. Let me just show you guys the box. You just get a regular box. They say HD camera, but this is a 4K wireless indoor camera. Again, a lot of the indoor products you can use outside as long as they're protected and not in the direct elements, right? But again, do so at your own risk. Open up the box here. You know, kind of your standard Amazon packaging. You have some foam. Pop open the box. What else did they give you on this here? They do give you a SD card adapter. If those who have been living under a rock, or I don't mean it to be an insult, but those who don't know, if you have an micro SD card, you may not have a USB adapter to get the files off the camera onto your computer. So I like when companies kind of throw stuff like this in. This is a really cheap, inexpensive thing. It's nice that, let's say you go out and buy this and you're really excited to like get the camera footage off it for whatever reason, and then you're like, oh man, I can't put this on my computer. I like the fact they thought ahead and they give you the device. We have a small mounting station. This is so if you want to mount this on a tripod, you have kind of like your standard camera thread, and then this thing just pops on the bottom. It just clips in here like so, I think. Let's see here. There we go. So kind of handy. This is something you can, you know, mount this and use it as like a security camera if you wanted to. Then we have, let's see what else we get here. They do give you the mounting bracket. So this has got like 3M double stick tape, kind of a pivoting, kind of ball joint bracket. You could screw that into the base there. And then it looks like they give you the power adapter, which is nice to include that. Sometimes, you know, companies don't always include everything you need. Yeah, so you get the power adapter, but unfortunately, again, this is kind of one of those things that, although I like the fact they included the micro SD card reader, right? They don't give you the card, right? And then of course they give you the power cord, but they don't give you the power adapter. So this is kind of these things that kind of bug me sometimes at companies. I get it, every company's different. They're trying to come in at a certain price point, but to me, if I buy something, I want something all-inclusive, especially if you're not a super techie person. You might not even think, because when you think of like, if you buy like a camcorder, right, or a surveillance camera, it usually comes with all that stuff. So this, you might be super excited to get this, get it tested out, and then you get it home and you're like, oh, I don't have the SD card, which I need, and I don't have the power adapter to charge it. Now, it does have an onboard battery life, and it says here it has 100 days standby. I don't have 100 days to test that, but that's pretty insane. If you put this somewhere where it's not getting triggered, right, then maybe you'll get 100 days standby, but that's pretty insane. Some of the cameras I've tested in the past, like, you're lucky if you get a few hours out of them. So I will definitely put that to the test and eventually put a comment in the comment section letting you folks know if you actually get that. And I always recommend, you know, Amazon's got free returns, at least on this product. If you want to put it to the test, buy it. Now, I will state that when you look at the picture on Amazon, they're showing like 2 fingers holding this. This is much larger than what they're showing on Amazon. It's a really poor representation of the size of the camera. They're making this thing look like it's the size of like a woman's thumbnail. This is much larger than that, right? So I'll try to hold it the way they're holding it. I mean, you can see by my video how large it is, and not like it's gigantic, but we're looking at something that's, you know, what do we got here? About 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. The other ones I reviewed are about 1 inch. But if we go off what this picture looks like that they're showing you, super inaccurate representation of how large this camera is. This is not something that you're just going to hide somewhere. Like, you can. It's not huge, but you know, it's definitely something you have to be a little creative if you are going to hide this, right? And it is called the spy camera, or like a nanny cam. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's talk about the specifics. So again, it is 1.5 by 1.5 by 1.5. It is square. It's got a 160-degree wide angle lens, which is great. You get that 4K resolution. It says here it has a 3,000 milliamp rechargeable battery, which will give you 100 days of standby. And it says here it can continuously record for 19 hours. Then it says, furthermore, sleep mode enabled, the battery can last 7 to 30 days, depending on how often the PIR sensor is triggering, up to 100 days in a remote shutdown state. So again, a little misleading. 100 days in remote shutdown state, I believe, means with the camera off, where it's not monitoring anything. So again, don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. But to me, when they state, and 100 days in a remote shutdown state that can be activated via the app, to me, that means off. Right, so that's not really useful, but because if you're shutting it down, now maybe the app allows you to shut it down and turn it back on. That would be interesting, but I haven't put that to the test. It does have smart motion and human shape detection. I have not tested that. You know, when I do these videos, I can't put every single product to like extreme test. Mainly when I do these products, they're unboxings and they're letting you know, like, hey, this is my initial thoughts on this, and is it something that I think you should give it a go, right? As far as like the way that this has performed so far, I think it works much better than some of the other cameras I reviewed. Some of the other cameras are in the $20 to $30 price range. I think with something like this, they had to kind of step up the processor in order to work with 4K. So it definitely records better. Some of the other ones would just like completely freeze up. This seems to work a lot better. The human detection, I haven't tested all that stuff yet. Time will tell. I've never really found that human detection on any smart home camera that I reviewed, even expensive ones, works flawlessly, right? What else? It has infrared. You can see a total darkness. It says here capture subjects up to 26 feet away. That's pretty far. I find that pretty unlikely. Like, it may... like, you may be able to see them that far away, but you're not going to be able to distinguish 26 feet away, be able to recognize or identify somebody. I mean, I have some pretty elaborate cameras. Even then, it's pretty hard to do that. 26 feet away is pretty far, but you'll definitely see that somebody's there, right? At least give you a heads up. And it says here, there'll be no obvious red lights that give away the camera. I don't know about that, because when I looked at this, I could see a little bit of red glow, but they're definitely minor. Like, you'd have to kind of be looking for them. And at 26 feet away, you definitely won't see them. It has a 1-year warranty, and it says here lifetime support. Again, that depends if the company's still in business, right? And that's really about it. As far as some of the other specifics that they mentioned, they're really proud of the sleep mode, and it just says here on this graph here, continuous working mode 19 hours, sleep mode 7 to 15 days, deep sleep 15 to 30 days, and the remote shutdown in standby 100 days. So I think maybe in remote standby, that might shut it down where you have to actually turn it back on. It's not 100% off, but you can say, hey, I want to conserve the battery life. I'm going to remotely shut this down. It won't be triggered by any kind of like motion or anything like that. That's what I'm understanding here. Again, we'll have to see. It says here they do include free 3-day cloud service and up to 256 supported gigabyte card. I do recommend, if you are going to use this You know, I have memory cards in all my cameras, and some have larger cards. I can tell you, recording in you know, like a high definition or 4K, you definitely want to go with the maximum size card. So if you're ordering this and you want to put this to use, I would go ahead and order a 256 gig micro SD card right when you make the purchase. Again, I'll put a link in the description to the ones that I use. If you're using like a 32 gig, you're probably, if I guesstimate on that, you might get 6 to 8 hours of continuous record time. So better to have that space and have several days, because you might need to go back on footage and look at something and then only to realize like, oh, I recorded over what I needed, right? So just, you know, better to just get the 256. It would be nice if they would have had the ability to run a terabyte, but 256 is pretty good. And again, it depends on the resolution and how often it's recording. You know, I don't really recommend something like this being on 24/7, just continuous recording. It should be only used on motion detection. I think things like this probably aren't the best. Although, you know, again, it is an indoor camera. It's not really meant to be used outside. Some folks, you know, I've used, like I said, I've used indoor cameras outside in overhangs where they're protected. They've worked, but things like this, I think, work best when there's not constant motion, you know. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, you'll have shadows from the sun overhead, or you'll have leaves blowing or trees moving. A lot of these cameras aren't really great at being able to distinguish between that kind of motion and actual real human motion, which is why you're buying this. So if you're putting this inside a house, again, use as a nanny cam, use as like a, so sorry if you have to go through this, but like a cheating spouse cam or some bullshit like that you got to deal with, this might be a good option for you. Definitely, again, you're going to have to, this is not something that, if somebody's like, you can, I mean, it's noticeable. It is a camera. And so if you mount this somewhere discreet, that would probably be a better option. Now, it does have an extended lens on it. You see that? And so what I was thinking with that, that'd be kind of interesting to like just kind of mount this somewhere where you could drill a hole, like in a picture frame, or not a picture frame, but like in a picture, like behind the photo. If you have like a box frame, if you were to hide this in something, you can. But just keep in mind, when you do that, anytime you put like glass or an obstruction in front of the infrared lights, they're not going to work. They don't reflect back, and it's just going to cause like I found like people trying to put these like inside the house looking outside. They work great in the daytime, but at night those infrared lights are going to reflect back and you won't see anything. So if you are going to put this somewhere and hide it, I like it. I think that's the reason they did that. I've never seen that done on any other camera. They've put that kind of projection on there. It's not recessed, it's not flush, it kind of jets out where you can drill a hole in something, maybe a little glue, or kind of mount it back there somehow. You could even use the bracket and kind of stick this on somewhere. Again, you'd have to get kind of creative, but that's probably what I would do with something like this. It gives you the ability to really hide it. Out in the open, you know, sure, unless somebody's really looking for it, but if somebody's a lot of times looking to do wrong, right, they're going to, in today's day and age with stuff like this available, they're going to kind of look around. Like if you are, you know, making sure nothing's happening to your child, babysitter, you know, whatever, you know, you kind of want to be a little discreet. But I always think too, if you're hiring somebody and you want to kind of, you know, watch what's going on. I don't know if you really necessarily want to like catch somebody in the act. I like to have a camera out in the open and let them know like, hey, you know, you're being recorded. Put it somewhere where it can't be reached. And as long as this is good as a backup, you know, if you have cameras in your house, kind of keeps, you know, I don't have to deal with stuff like this, but I'm saying for folks who have kids and stuff like that, and you're trying to, you know, make sure your kids are safe, by all means, you know, a camera being up there, you know, if you're hiring a babysitter, like, it's a job, you know what I mean? Like, people shouldn't have a problem with being recorded, and then if they do, then you find somebody who doesn't have a problem, you know? You're there to work, and so when you're working, you should expect your employer to kind of keep tabs on you, right? That's kind of, well, every business has cameras, right? But this is kind of a nice backup, just in case the event that somebody's kind of hip to that and they're looking to do wrong and they figure they kill your power or do something, you got to back up just to kind of check on things. So highly recommended. Price point on this $52. There are no there is a 10% coupon on it today. Take advantage of that. It does have Wi-Fi as well, again, so you can connect to the app and view this. I'm not seeing anything on here as far as and I didn't test this part of it yet, I think you can tap into this remotely, just like a standard security camera, using the cloud, because it does have the cloud recording. So once you connect this to your network, it is connected. Then you'll be able to actually monitor it from a distance. But I have not put that aspect on the to a test like outside my network yet. But pretty cool. I definitely encourage you, if you're in the market for something like this, to check this one out. I would encourage you, if you are looking at the different ones, you're flooded on Amazon with all these products. I recommend, even if you're not like interested in getting like the 4K version, don't spend $30 on this. Go ahead and get the 4K version, because that's going to ensure that you have a better processor in there and that the camera is not going to be jittery. I've had cameras in the past that really are so bad, like I didn't even review them. Like I was like, I can't review this, like this doesn't even work properly. So just kind of keep that in mind. And the nice thing about this, you can return it if you have any problems. This does get a 4-star rating on Amazon. And just give you as an example, this person says here they have it set on a 720. It says here, it says, just to give you an example, again, you guys read this, but it says here, overall I've been pretty happy with the purchase. They were going to replace another 4K cam previously purchased, return it was not advertised, was only 720, transcoded to 4K. Well, not perfect, sometimes it did catch motion. Again, that's the kind of problem with some of the cheaper ones I've seen. But this one here, they're pretty happy with it. One person just said easy operation. It says here, this person said, I'm technology challenged. It was easy to set up. Customer service was able to answer all my questions. This person is 79 years old, and they were able to, let's see, it says my father would not let me use it. I think 79 years old, he didn't quite understand what it was there for. I was watching him leave the room so I could install it. But one thing on nursing homes, it didn't stay put in the room. So this person used it to come monitor their dad. Yeah, I get why, but that kind of sucks. But yeah, a lot of four stars, a lot of 5 stars. This person said this is a camera everybody should have. Good clear night vision. Battery life is so good. Good value for money. So again, you know, reviews are subjective. I'm giving you guys the information. If you are in the need for something like this, I give you this information for you to check it out and give it a go. If you have good results in this, let me know. Drop a comment. If you have a bad experience, let me know as well. This is how these products get exposure and how we know which ones are good and which ones aren't. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day and take care.